Hey everyone, my name's Annie. Guess what? Someone stole my identity. Luckily, everything's fine. It's all good, but I thought this would make a good topic for a vlog. Let me tell you a little bit more about how we got here. So I was just minding my business, enjoying my little life in the UK, and I got an email from my dad overnight that someone had tried to apply for a loan in my name, and it wasn't me. I didn't do it. So immediately I fixed the situation by disputing it on my credit reports and reporting it to the FTC, and then putting a freeze on all of my credit. Everything's fine now. There was no damage. But here's the thing, I was able to respond quickly. If I would have done things differently a few months ago when I moved over to the UK, this could have been much worse. I want to talk today about some mistakes you definitely should not make if you're considering a move from the US to the UK. Are you thinking about moving abroad? Great idea. You're gonna love it over here. But there's a couple of things that you should know. Number one mistake, not keeping a US address. You're going to want to change your bank account information and your mailing address to the address of somebody that you trust, whether that's family members, friends, a significant other, whoever. Even when you're living abroad, you're still going to need to file US taxes, and having a US address makes things so much easier during tax time. It'll also ensure that you continue to receive important documents related to your taxes. This includes tax forms, legal notices, or correspondences with the government. Some US banks and institutions require you to have a US address on file. If you don't have a US address on file, certain banks will limit the financial activities that you can do. You might find difficulty managing your finances remotely. As soon as I moved over here, I did get a notice from my bank that I wasn't able to invest through them due to company policy while I was living in the UK. Having a US address ensures that you'll receive any mail-in packages if those American-based companies don't offer international shipping. Your US address is part of your identity. If you need to verify your identity for visas, rental applications, whatever you need, this will be important to have. So overall, if you're keeping a US address, it ensures that you remain connected to your home country. It also ensures that you can fulfill any obligations back in the United States while you're living abroad. There may be some additional legal or logistical complications associated with maintaining a US-based address. This isn't something that I can comment on, so make sure that you do your homework on that. Second mistake that you could make when you're moving from the US abroad is getting rid of your US phone number. I know there are multiple apps out there. We have social media. There are many ways that you can keep in touch, but if you don't have a US phone number, you still might have difficulty communicating through WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, whatever. If there's a way that you can keep a US phone number, then this can ensure that you remain connected to your family and friends back home. Also, for job seekers, especially if you're applying to different countries, having a US number ensures that no matter where you're looking to continue your career, you'll be able to maintain connections with recruiters, and you'll have a consistent number on your CV. Similar to your US address, some banking and financial institutions will still want to maintain a US phone number. Banks regularly send communications through text messages for suspicious activities and alerts, and you want to make sure that you're still receiving those. There's so many applications and accounts out there that use two-factor authentication. These apps and services might require a US phone number in order to get into your account and verify your identity. This is especially important if you lose access to your accounts somehow. Again, government agencies, tax authorities, and other legal entities might prefer to have a US phone number on file. It's also just more convenient to have a US number, especially if you are going on trips back to the US or plan to return to the US long term. Honestly, I've had my phone number since I think 8th grade. It was an emotional gut punch to think about getting rid of it. Most phones these days do let you have two different numbers using a combination of eSIMs and SIM cards. There are a couple of different ways to keep your US phone number. One that I saw was people were porting their US number to something like Google Voice. I wasn't sure if I would still get text messages for the two-factor authentication from banks using Google Voice, so I didn't do that. I signed up with a plan through Tello, which had a basic limited number of texts and minutes, no data, and I could use that on Wi-Fi. Then I was able to get a SIM with my UK number as soon as I arrived in the country. Okay, back to my story. When my parents got that letter in the mail that someone had tried to open an account and apply for a loan in my name, they were able to open it immediately. They were able to help right away. They sent me an email with the scan of the document. Because I kept my US number, I was immediately able to change all of my passwords using the two-factor authentication without having to go through extra steps of calling the bank to verify my identity. And I'm so thankful that I did all of these things, because it could have been much worse. So if you can find a way to keep a US address and keep a US phone number, then you can maintain a sense of continuity, security, and communication back to the United States while you're living abroad. Living abroad is wonderful, but having some connection back to the United States just makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions about this or if there's anything else that I can help with. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!